All right, there we go. Well, welcome everybody to the PmP End of Month Spectacular. Another month gone by, like sands through the hourglass, so go the days of our lives. And now we're here, ready to review all of your wonderful submissions out of the PmP. I'm Vince Venturella. I hope you know who I am, being that you're on my channel watching this video, but if not, I am Vince Venturella. And joining me are Kieran and Alicia. You'd each like to introduce yourselves.
Ladies first.
Guys always stick me with that. Hi everybody, it's me, Alicia, Dame of the Brush. Check out my YouTube channel if you want to see how I do things.
Short and sweet.
Yep.
Okay. Well, and my name's Kieran. I am sitting back in the cozy basement now that it's not so freaking cold that it is intolerable down here.
You're wearing a pretty sweet
Looking
jacket.
forward to spring. I'm still wearing a sweater though. Don't let that fool you.
All right. Well, as you know, we are here to review some end of the month submissions. So without further ado, let's right into that. And we can look at what everybody submitted and talk about what we like and maybe what we would do better and or change or give some advice and critiques and all that sort of thing. All right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this round of stuff. I kind of sat on the sidelines for a lot of February and January too, but I certainly still paid attention to the good work that's gone on around the world.
Absolutely. This is, can it first, so can you both see my screen? Are you looking at a PmP page?
Sure.
All is well.
All right. Hopefully that is a good thing and everybody is looking at what I'm looking at. I looked back through this month and I just wanted to say, first off, like, amazing month from everyone. Wow. What a crazy month of submissions. Like, everybody has just turned out so much work. It must be the winter, right? No one can leave their house, and so everybody's just staying in painting.
That's one way to react.
All right, and so we'll start here. I'm not doing the zombies there, Alicia, because I think we covered those last show, correct?
I don't remember, so it's fine. You skip them.
Alicia did an incredible group of zombies. I'm pretty sure we talked about it in the last show. If not, you should go look at them. They're fantastic.
Yep.
So I thought we would start here on the 2nd of the month with tuna sandwichify. Oh, actually, you know what? I think we did do those too. Where should we start here? Here we go. This is where we left off. Sorry. We left off with we had done tuna sandwichify's fully painted army. Because remember we looked at that. Let's bring it up here. Review it one more time and just say real quickly, tuna, well done. It's always a good feeling finishing an army.
Yeah, and to throw it all together on a display board, it wraps it up really nicely.
Absolutely. So I know we told you well done last month, so well done this month too. All right, so we'll start with our first submission of the month, which was from Victor Case. Victor obviously does a lot of great videos and submissions, and this was his Mordheim miniatures for his Dogs of War army. There we go. Nice little look at the effort here, going to making the diorama, as it were, of sorts. Of the
yes,
pictures.
A nice photo montage.
Absolutely. He always goes all the way on the backgrounds. I love it. He's got all the different backgrounds to photograph in front of.
I wonder if he steals a lot of magazines from like doctors' offices and things like that, too. National Geographics.
That's a good idea. I hadn't even thought of that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to borrow some National Geographics so I can shoot my minis in front of it.
Right, that's what I mean. I mean borrow, not steal.
Yes, of course. I have all intention of returning them. Yes. So did you all watch Victor's video on his blending techniques for these for the cloaks?
I'm afraid I did not.
That's okay. It was pretty good. He had a nice video talking about how he gets these effects and blending together the colors. I highly recommend it if you're curious as to how to get a more natural blending of colors. He kind of goes over like a form of not really wet blending, but kind of. to do this. I think it's good work. I love when people pull off stripes on pants too.
Stripes
It's
on
never an
pants
easy thing to
is
do.
difficult. Yeah.
Well, and it's a fashion that probably needs to come back.
Some more. Absolutely, I agree. Some more striped pants. These guys they're ready for Christmas with their striped pants. It's Christmas and
Uh,
more time.
Let me ask you, Alicia, as a lady, how do you feel about striped pants on men?
I don't know. It depends on their legs.
All right. Do we have any final thoughts here on Victor's work before we move on?
One thing I do appreciate is usually when people are doing fur, they sort of go monotone, like obviously gray gradient all the way through is done there, but it's not necessarily a true reflection of natural animals who might go from browns into grays, through whites and all that. So he's picked up on that.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. And you see him, he does it in a lot of different color schemes. Got some brown there. This one, I particularly like this one, especially when you see the head up here and you kind of see the color change reflected. I agree. I think it does make it look much more like an animal, right? Like that really did come off of a furred animal. All right. Good work. All right, moving on. Just look at these guys real quick. Whatever, we don't need to spend a lot of time. These were my first thing I finished for the month, which was my my Storm Fiends, my converted Storm Fiends there. This kit was absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if either of you have had a chance to look at it yet, but what I will say is these are by far the most complicated models I've ever put together. So.
Yeah, it looks like you had a joyous time with them.
Oh, I did. They're amazing. They're beautiful models. I really liked painting them, but man, are they are a chore to put together. They come in more pieces than you would think reasonable.
Well, on the bright side, they're very customizable then.
That's true. Absolutely. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Highly recommend the unit. I think it's pretty awesome. So yeah, Storm Fiends. There you go. All right. Let's go ahead and close that out. Did you? And by the way, please don't hold back on my account. If you have any, advice for me, please do go ahead and feel free to share.
Well, I'm saving something for you for a little bit later.
Oh, all right. I'm excited.
That I got to comment on.
Okay, good. So then we go to Skeleton Flower, who finished up his big gross troll here.
Yeah, this guy's a fun time, isn't he?
Absolutely. I love the color scheme, let me just say that. Not enough people work in purples and pinks and magentas and stuff like that. And I love the little green goblin behind him there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a nice soft blend of purple tone and a quality crown on this troll's head to top it off.
Yes, indeed. There we go. There's his helm, clearly taken from a brave Bretonnian man-at-arms there. How many of them must perish for this troll to have headpieces? Good rust effect on the helm, too.
I'd be pretty happy to have this guy as a stand-in for Throg.
I love the.
Not that Throg's a terrible model, but he's going to be old news now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't have much to say on this. It's well done. I like the basing. I like the little goblin. I think he's a fantastic addition. I love the green against purple. It's a wonderful, like you see it on the arrow tips here too. It's a wonderful use of contrasting colors. It's great. All right. Good work there, Skeleton. This may be my single favorite miniature of the entire month. Right here.
Oh, yeah. That guy's really leaning into it.
He is. Some of these pictures are a little blurry, but there we go. There's a nice little goblin butt.
So who wants to explain what this goblin is doing?
He's taking a dump in what looks to be a helmet.
Yes, indeed. I think this is a Blood Bowl fig originally, right?
Yeah, he's dropping one in his helmet. That's what that is. Or
This
maybe
may
not his.
be.
Maybe not his helmet. It's a little
Yes,
bit
I would
bigger.
assume it to be an enemy's helmet.
Yeah,
By the
that's more
color
likely.
scheme, I'd say Bretonia or Empire.
Yes, this may be the greatest miniature ever wrought by the hand of man. Like Nagash or anything like that. Those are great minis, but I don't know. I don't know if they can hold a candle to Goblin pooping in someone else's helmet.
Actually, if you go spend a little bit of time in that same era of the range of Snotlings, you'll find all kinds of very comical and characterful guys, just like that.
See, I'd be sorely tempted to actually buy this model for the price of Nagash instead of
This is worth your $100.
yeah, that would be worth my $100.
Very nice. You're a little quiet, by the way, Alicia. You may want to, I don't know, adjust your mic or speak a little louder. Like I can hear you, but you're a little quiet.
Oh, that's why you weren't paying attention to me when I was making comments. That,
But great work, Dice Miniature Paint Guy. Love it. Absolutely. So this one was another one I did, just to show it real quick. Was this the one you had feedback on?
Yeah.
Okay. What's my
Um,
feedback?
so I'll start with the positive and then work down from there.
Oh, I like it. All right, good. Give it to me. Give me the business.
Okay, so first off, very creative use of the nurses. Those are for the world out there. Those are Malifaux models, which I've been spending time with Malifaux lately, but we can talk about that later. Secondly, the red tones have maintained the darkness of them, but worked up nicely. So I like the blend in there. But here's where it turns ugly.
All right.
I fundamentally, just as much as we praised the little Snotling a moment ago, this is dead on the worst designed model for aesthetic look in the Games Workshop range. And as a master converter that I believe you to be, Vince, I'm disappointed that you didn't do something better with that.
Well, this was my first one. I have to make 2 of them. And you'll be happy to know that right now, quite literally yesterday, I got in like all the parts for one of these, as well as like a ton of parts for a Cauldron of Blood that I plan to shove together into some giant monstrosity between the 2.
Okay. Is it less motorcycle-y than this?
We'll see. Who knows how it's going to work out in the end? I don't even know what we're going to get out of the other side of it yet.
Good.
I would say I'm not as hard on it just because it feels like a very phallic motorcycle. And so, you know, I feel like Corn is all about sort of various different types of fallacies. And so I think that it is somewhat appropriate.
Well, maybe. I just remember declaring last year when this thing came around and I started to see it on the table, I was willing to give all the guys at this local tournament that I played at $10 to not play with that model again. Like to take my $10 and invest it in some other bits so they can turn it into a different looking model.
Well, I'll finish the next one here sometime, probably in the next month or 2. So we'll see if you like it better then.
Good. I'm done now.
All right. Very good. Alicia, you got any bad business for me?
I've recently had to paint this model. I hate this model too, but I think you did a really great job on it. I love all the highlighting and everything that you've done with it. Did you paint it in bits or did you paint it as a whole?
No, it was painted as a whole. The only thing I didn't have assembled was the 2 girls on the back on their little stand. Everything else was complete at the time I painted it.
Yeah. If I had had the option, I think I would have painted it in bits.
Yeah, I mean, I could certainly see sub-assembling a model like this, but I didn't find it too bad to do because it's mostly exterior. You have a little bit like down in here is where it got problematic, and under the back wheel, where you've got these big pistons in front of it. But other than that, not too bad.
Okay.
It's not like a Skaven Doom Wheel or something where if you put it together and don't paint it, that's it, you're done. All right. Let's jump over here to Kai and his retro silver helms.
Yeah, it's good that he's been banging out some old high elves. Well, I guess these aren't old high elves; they're the current range ones, I suppose. Or are they?
I think these are the old
Are
ones.
those
These are the old
heads
metal ones, right?
different?
These
Because
have
I
to
don't.
be
I'm pretty sure the new
metal.
ones don't look exactly like this.
Yeah, I was just trying to think. I think the heads are different. So these must be metal riders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
Horses
a
still the same.
purveyor of high elves, I feel you have the you have all the authority on this one, Kieran.
Yep, I'm going to stand by that. That's my feeling.
Very good. Do we have any thoughts for Kai? I like blue and white, very classic high elf color scheme.
I remember when he was doing many of these things as a commission. So this might be an extension of the same thing, where he's getting his friends are getting him to paint models for them. But he's gone with some softer looks on the horses, which is kind of a little bit more realistic. Sometimes you see, again, back to something that Victor did in talking about realism of what animal fur looks like. He's done this a little bit better. And on this lead horse on the far right, I suppose, it looks as though he's done some dappling on there, which is a fun thing to try out. So, good stuff on that. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I had one piece of feedback, it would be this horse right here in the middle. I feel like his mane and his tail and the fur around his or hair around his fetlock should have been set off with a slightly different color, maybe like a lighter tan or a white or a bone or something.
Or a bit
Just to
darker
give it
in that
some more,
case.
yeah, just to kind of distinguish it a little more. Like you look at this one, the one in the rear here. I really like that. I love the black against the horse. I think that looks great. Or even the one ahead where it's like it's clearly more white.
I'll back you up on that.
Yeah. I like the contrast on the horses. So, but all in all, very good. It's good to see the old metal silver helms. I've got a good buddy who has a high elf army from the 90s that there are still about 5 painted models in 20 years later. So that's always nice.
I like the fact that he went in and actually made all the horses different colors.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great tip. Do not paint all of your horses the same color. Horses are, just Google image search horse, and you will see that finding 2 horses that are exactly the same color is honestly a challenge. So don't do it. Make them different colors.
Yeah. At very least, if you're going to batch paint like an entire wood elf army or something like that, do 4 different colors of horses. At least 4 different colors.
Yeah.
Because that way it's not clone horses on the entire unit.
Yeah, in fact, I just did 15 of those, what are they called? Reaver Knights. And sort of did 5 in each of the same base colors. So I did 5 gray tones, 5 dark brown tones, and then 5 medium brown tones. And did some variation on the fetlocks and blazes and manes and things as I went.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to experiment with that. Painted horses, horses with spots and splotches and color variations and such. I mean, it's that they, as I said, if you go Google image search that, you're going to see there's patterns and all sorts of things. It's a natural animal. It doesn't it's not a piece of cloth that gets made with a pattern. So.
Yep.
All right, let's move into Alicia here. I see we've got some big submissions for you. Now, this was all, I assume, part of a commission?
Oh, yep. I'm painting an entire demon army. I'm almost done with it.
This was the Slanesh section?
Yep.
Yeah, you were a busy lady this month.
Yeah, tell me about it.
You picked up all of my slack.
Now, there's some things here I noticed in this. First of all, I assume this was a purposeful little highlight here to show some glowing eye, little OSL touch.
I did some playing around with the object source lighting with the eyes.
Very good. And I like your color transition. I like the choices. Now, did you pick the color scheme, or was it asked for by the commissioner?
I was actually very excited. The only color restriction that I had on this whole army was he wanted the Nurgle units in like earthy greens and not like crazy greens.
Okay.
Everything else was completely my choice, and I was very pleased to have the reins taken off.
Well, it certainly seems like you did some experimentation. I watched your video on the Daemonettes. I thought they came out pretty well. Let's go take a look at them. Here's the next piece. Yes, if you're Alicia did a great job with these, and if you want to see how she got this color scheme, she has a video on her channel. Highly recommend it. She walks through the whole paint scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you like painting the Daemonettes?
I have problems painting things that are completely together, but these weren't too bad. They didn't have a whole lot of, here, let me cross over myself a bunch of times. So they were pretty fun. Once I got my pattern down, I cranked them out like 5 at a time.
Yes, I do love the regular Daemonettes. These I have like I have like 3 different kinds of Daemonettes, and I like all of them. I think they're beautiful. They're fun to paint. They have good faces. I'm a fan of the big hair. I wish they gave you more big hairs in the box. That's my only lament.
Less favor to the bald chicks, hey?
Oh, I have 0 bald Daemonettes. That's gross. I see we've got a couple hiding back here. Look at them, baldies.
Yeah, I do like that you went for the red-orange crab claws on these things. Makes you really understand what they're doing. It's crab claws. Let's not fool anybody.
Yeah, basically my whole thing was I was like, well, I don't know exactly what he's going to be playing this army as, so let's throw a little corn in that, and I'll Zenith, and some flesh in there, you know. So we got the blue feet, the red claws, and purple everything else.
Well done. And then I think we had the third year. Yeah, you had your Herald, which I particularly like this model. It's one of the simpler Heralds, but I like her very weird pose. I'm actually a big fan of it.
She looks aggressive.
Yeah. I love let me see if we can get a good angle on it here. There we go. I love her this pleating in this skirt is really fun. It's a nice little detail on the model. I like your blood soak at the bottom. Now, what'd you do for your blood effect?
The blood effect, I just built that up with some Mephiston, Evil Sun Scarlet, and Caribou Crimson. I actually didn't use blood for the blood bound on this one.
Which makes sense. That would have given you a glossy, sort of effect, and that wouldn't really make too much sense on soaked-in blood, as opposed to exposed blood.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's good. Exactly. I think that's a good point, good lesson right there. When you want to do blood, you should do sort of a stippling of darker to lighter blood. It takes 3 different colors of red to make blood. Don't just throw red at it and assume it's going to look like blood. Blood doesn't dry like that.
Yeah, and if you want it caked and like just really old blood, you want to do like just a Agrax at the end, just at the very bottom to kind of brown it out.
Absolutely. All right, good work. I like it. I'm sure they were very pleased.
Yeah, so far he's been very happy with everything I've done, and I can't wait to get finished and ship them off to him again.
How much more do you have?
After tonight, a corn cannon.
Oh, one more, huh?
Yeah, one more.
There you go, Kieran. One more of them gets to join the fray. All right, so now we've got Mr. Lee Mech Shop. I particularly like this conversion. This is great. And so he modeled this. This was I think it's his Tomb King. He's using it as what, like a Necrolith Colossus or something?
Yeah, I'm sure that's the comment that he put in there. He was going to
Yeah.
use it for that.
And,
Flesh Golem, incarnate of beast.
yes. I think rules-wise it would probably be a, come out as a Necrolith Colossus, or maybe his Hyro Titan, depending. But, so he modeled this on Attack on Titan, right? The anime, where you have all these big giants with exposed muscles and sinew and such. Obviously, the base miniature didn't have any of this to it. He did all this sort of by hand, and I think this is just fantastic work. I love the color transition in the dark on the arms. Love the muscle definition. He achieved a great effect here. You feel like you can see the muscle sinew.
Yeah, he did a little bit of study on anatomy, I guess, to figure out how that tendon attaches and that kind of stuff. It's quite well done.
This is great. Yeah, excellent work, Mr. Lee. Way to go. Like, this is just a fantastic piece. All right. Alicia, any thoughts?
It's awesome.
It's a good thought.
Yeah, I really don't have anything more to add to what you guys have already said.
It's well done. All right. Here up, we've got, I think, another piece from Tuna Sandwichify he added to his army with the, I believe this is his Casket of Souls. A lot of people converting over Caskets of Souls for their Vampire Counts army. And I like this. Good use, the Spirit Hosts. I particularly like the blood running in between the mortar of the bricks. That's fun. Now this is a great time to use blood for the Blood God, which is what he did here, I believe.
Oh, neat. I like how those spirit hosts are coming out of that corpse's eyeball.
There we go. Another nice image. I like his freehand in the book as well. It's a nice little Necromancer's book he's got there.
We're seeing lots of attempts at conversions for these Casket of Souls lately, now that there's Undead Legion stuff and Vampire Counts are trying to be creative. And this is the first time, I'm surprised actually, the first time that I've seen somebody use that coffin bit from the Black Coach.
Yeah, it is. It's an excellent use of that.
Yeah, it's a natural fit, I think.
It is, casket. It feels like somebody would have made that connection sooner, but hey.
Yeah. It feels altar-ish.
Absolutely. I particularly like this Necromancer, though. I assume this is like, I don't think that's an existing fig, right? He kit bashed that together from a few pieces.
No, I'll tell you exactly where that comes from. That's
all right.
You can make that model entirely out of the pieces from the Empire Wizard kit.
Really?
Yep. See that what is used as the head in the Empire kit. The one of the options is to have the right hand throwing a flaming skull.
Nice.
So that's what that piece is.
Okay.
Yeah,
that is very clever.
The book and the clawy hand. That's all part of it.
Is that like a Amber Wizard or Amethyst Wizard? Sorry. Base?
Well, the way that the kit is done is that you can make a variety of different wizards out of the one kit. They give you enough bits to mix and match in variety. So you can make many of, 8 different permutations of wizard out of it.
Gotcha.
It's a pretty quality kit.
Clearly, yeah, if you got that many permutations, and I love that conversion, so well done. That just adds to it for me. Great job, Tuna. All right, now we've got William Page, who had his Demon Prince here.
Mm-hmm. Has he had stuff in the past few months? I don't remember coming across it in our reviews. Anybody recall?
He submitted some Screamers last month when you weren't here, and it was Alicia and I. He did, I think, some Screamers and some Flamers. He's working on his Pyre Legion army.
Well, The reason I ask that is I like this guy. I like this William Page fellow. If you're listening, William, thumbs up from me for the quality of your videos, vids, and the insights that you put. I dig it. Keep it up.
Agreed. And most men are not brave enough to go full on orange, like to go hunter's, vest orange on a mini and have it look right. So he clearly probably did some base color under there and worked it up in some nice layers because it's a very clean, bright orange.
Yeah. Yeah, he seems to be of the camp. I guess I haven't seen much of his other stuff as far as painted models, but he's of the camp of doing a stark contrast, and he's really over-exaggerated the musculature in there. He wants to make you know that this guy works out, does a lot of crunches every day.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a good point. Like, some people like the very solid muscle definition lines, and I think that's it's a more the style of it is a more sort of animated cartoon-ish style, and I don't mean that in a negative at all. I just mean like in a cartoon or in something drawn like that, you have to have hard lines to separate things, right? And that is a perfectly valid choice for how to paint models, and they look really good from a distance, and even close up. Frankly, I'm not saying that it looks bad close up. It's a stylistic choice, and I'd love to see more people explore it. Because it is actually very hard to make this look right, and to take what would normally be like a drawings level of contrast and bring it into reality. And he really knocks it out of the park here. And yeah, this dude has like 8 abs. He's clearly been hitting the gym. He's got all the abs. All right, well done, William. And I agree, of course, with Kieran on the content. Great battle reports, great content, William. Keep it up. And aloha out in Hawaii to yourself.
I have one comment for this though.
All right, hit it.
How dare you use a goblin as a crotch piece, William? How dare you? But it's not cool.
Is that what that
to use
is?
a goblin face for your crotch guard. I don't know.
Are you telling me that's not part of the natural model?
I don't know. It might not be.
Huh.
I don't know.
Give me a zoom in on that, Vince, if you can.
I sure can.
Yeah, zoom in on the Demon Prince's crotch. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
That's a natural part of it, I think.
Yeah.
I think Games Workshop is just saying that they see this Demon Prince as using a goblin face as his cup.
Yeah.
There are a couple other crotch guards that he could have used. That's why I'm making fun of it.
Hey, in the Battle of Demon Prince versus Goblin, one of those ends up as a crotch guard, and one of those does not. That's all I'm saying. So, it's the natural order of things.
Because, if a goblin wins, he can't use the Demon Prince's head as a crotch guard, because the demon's head's bigger than the goblin.
Be dragging on the floor.
Yeah. We're like trying to pogo stick with it.
Ooh, maybe that's the thing. Turn it into a squig to hop around.
Absolutely. All right, there's a great conversion. I have a big demon head squig hopper. I like it.
I feel like we've spent a few seconds too long talking about crotch guards.
Sorry.
Mr. Lee with something a little different to his models for his first game of Drop Zone Commander. Very nice.
To appreciate the scale of these things, those tanks are probably about a little over an inch front to back. So appreciate that scale a little bit, folks, when you're looking at these.
Yeah. It's an incredible level of, there you go, that kind of brings it, there you go, that brings it home. That green pot right there, that's like, a pot of Citadel glaze, like a normal sized paint pot. So this tank is 2 paint pot, or 1.5 maybe paint pots long.
Yeah, so it's good work to get in tight on all that and add some patterning, because it'd be easy enough to just paint these models, as small as they are, pretty monochromatic. But he's going in to do the extra lining and detailing and even put squad numbers on them.
Absolutely. I love the rust effects as well, where it looks like the green paint has chipped away and you can see that oxidized iron of steel under there.
Yep.
I love the windows on the dropship.
Mm-hmm.
We'll jump back.
Those
There we
are
go.
awesome.
So it's a very brilliant use of the of unusual colors there. You know, going into the orange and yellow to make it look like the shadowed windows there. Because it would have been just as easy for him to just black those out, right?
Oh yeah.
And that would have been a perfectly valid choice.
Yeah.
But
And
he definitely went the extra mile.
my gut always tells me to do the windows blue in those blue tones in a similar way to how I do gemstones. But this gives you the idea that these guys woke up at dawn and are getting the yellow orange sunrise to fly into.
Absolutely. All right. Yeah. Great stuff.
So it's a good example of how to make a great effect in even the smallest of models. It's sort of like the feel good about hobbits moment of the painting world. Hobbits will surprise you.
Absolutely. Here we have this Kieran Dunleavy guy submitting something.
Oh, that
You want
guy.
to talk about what you did here to put this together and what it is?
That guy actually did something. Yeah, this is a resin model of a coaching in, I suppose, that I picked up at a shop after getting a prize at a tournament back in December. So I got out the airbrush that the wife bought me for Christmas. Tried to fashion a product out of that. So this was as much experimenting with airbrush puffing as it was to paint the house itself.
Now, have you done a lot of airbrushing previously, or is this still some early stuff? How much airbrushing have you done in the past?
I'm a big rookie at this airbrushing. This would make the third model that I've put an airbrush to.
And how did you feel about it after you were done? Like, are you happy with how this came out? What did you learn in your third airbrush attempt?
Well, I actually got better at controlling the spray of it, which was the thing. Like, what I was real concerned about was, I mean, obviously there's some brushwork here to finish off and sharpen up lines, like the edging around the wood. But on the shutters on the windows, for example, I just did that with straight airbrush, and I maintained a bit of cleanliness and not overspraying onto the walls behind it. So I was pleased that I was actually able to keep that under control and keep that brush spray tight.
Now,
and that's what I was experimenting with, really.
It's good work. I really like it. I love the color transition here on the stone, around the cracks. I think that looks great. Mm-hmm. How big is this actually? Like, I'm trying to put it in perspective here.
Do I have a paint pot behind that you can see?
No paint pots. I guess you got a paint thing over here, but then I can't even tell what size the paint thing
Oh,
is.
that's a 2 inch tall. That's 2 inches tall, that one. Or there's a mug behind. You can use the mug as a scale reference.
Gotcha.
So
this is a pretty solid piece of Warhammer terrain here. You could drop this on a Warhammer table.
Oh yeah, it's 2 mugs tall.
There you go. That's how I shall measure all height from now on. A number of mugs.
And 3 mugs wide.
Yes.
Actually, in the box behind it, there's a paint bottle cap that I can see, like a water.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So you can use that as a reference. Yeah. So well, I mean, this is made for our Warhammer scale models. So when you look at the door frame, I mean, you can fit clearance over the top of your model to go through the doorway, I suppose. Think of it that way.
Now, do you know the company this model came from?
Yeah, they're kind of a small operation called JR Miniatures.
JR Miniatures.
They predominantly do stuff for the historical miniature range.
Well, there you go, people. JR Miniatures. If you want to pick up your own carriage house and try out some airbrushing, there you go.
Do it.
All right, very nice. Here we have there was a long time here where I didn't submit anything, and this is why.
Like a week?
Exactly. Yes, this was about 5 solid days. This was a long time. But these were I decided to paint all my men-at-arms at once. This was 53 men-at-arms, just so you can see, and then a couple knights thrown in for good measure.
Ew. 53. Yeah, that's a good yeoman's effort, if I can use a Bretonian term.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, I appreciate how you, just like on your knights, you took the time to do your shield pavises in different patterns as well, even though maintaining coherence with the army colors. So that gets a kudos from me, worth a mention.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I would say that with both with these patterns and with the shields and everything, and I mentioned it on a previous show, and I'll say it again. You know, get yourself a micro pen. That is really the best thing I can say. Is you know, if you're going to be doing some freehand, get yourself a micro pen or micron pen. Sorry, it's
Agreed.
just a priceless tool when doing that kind of work. Like all of these emblems here, you know, these aren't stickers or decals. These are just pre-drawn with that micron pen.
Yeah.
So.
I was using mine yesterday, actually.
Absolutely. All right.
One of those two.
Here we've got Victor with another model, Victor Case, with his Iron Hand Straken model from 40K. I watched the video on this one, and just the level of detail he went into. I mean, it's just great. I like his camo pattern, too. Camo is a fun thing to paint. You don't get to paint it much in Fantasy, but you're doing like a Catachan 40K Imperial Guard army, you're certainly gonna get plenty of that.
Yeah. What caught my attention on this one is the depth of color contrast he got into his metallics, which is sometimes difficult to get a depth of color change in silver without it looking too sharp.
Yeah, it's a very smooth transition too. Like if you look over the sword, it's really pretty smooth between this darker charcoal colored sort of, you know, completely shineless metal and up here to a much shinier, almost steel. It's a good transition. All right, any other thoughts on Iron Hand before we move on? Where does his name come from, I wonder? I don't get it.
It's because he's unbending in his giving of orders and his rule of the crowd that he commands.
Oh, no, that makes sense then.
Nothing to do with it. Nothing.
All right. Couple more. I'll just look at these real quick. Couple more nights for me. There's gonna be a lot of this. The next like 3 months of shows where we review this just gonna be and Vince painted some more nights. Well, congratulations on that.
There was a couple of nights I wanted to ask you something about, and so stop on this one here as the banner bearer for a sec.
Sure.
Where is he a banner bearer?
No, that's just normal old knight. The banners of Bretonia are absolutely giant. That's just their regular lances.
He just got his pennant hanging on there.
Yes.
So you lopped off the crests on many of them, I noticed. But you left
you actually get a full set of those helms. You get a full set of the non-tippy top helms and a full set of the tippy top helms.
Okay. So I never noticed before that this tail sticking out the back of the helm though. Is that on all of them?
On that kind, yes. When it's just like the when you use the flat steel helms like this, they all have this. I don't know. I honestly don't know what it's supposed to be. I assumed it was metal. I don't know if I'm wrong, but because it looks like chain. Let's kind of zoom in there. It looks, if you can see, like it looks like chain links, but I have no idea what that would be for. But I didn't snip it off because it was there. So.
Oh.
I never noticed those before.
Don't some of the knights have like a normal head on top of them?
Yeah, like this is, and it's funny too because this is actually one of the sort of 6th edition knights, right? And this guy, if you look, is actually the old 5th edition knight, and you can tell the difference because if you see the shields here on the barding, the older knights didn't have those, right? And if you look at like how much the barding is blowing in the wind and the under armor, he doesn't have that. He's just cloth, and so it lets you do a little more freehand type of work without needing to take into account the shield on the older models. But they're also less detailed. I mean, you can look at the two and see that like the detail level between the two is pretty significant.
Yeah.
But I actually think that head is that helmet is supposed to hang off of his belt. Like if you you attach the chain to the head because he's carrying his helmet with him.
Could be, I guess. I mean, they give you an awful, like, that's certainly, that would make sense, I guess, because you could, like, hook it in here. But what I'll say is, man, they give you a lot of these helms for that to be the case. I guess if you wanted to do all face knights, because you really do get a lot of heads in that kit.
Could be.
That's my
That
thought.
could be. You might be onto it. That might be exactly what it is. Maybe I should start cutting those off then. All right.
Because otherwise, it's just chains defying gravity,
Yes. Well, I assume he's just, leaping.
pouncing up. Yeah,
Yes.
could be.
All right. Another one from Alicia here. Your absolutely grotesque and disgusting plague frogs. They are painted amazing. I don't know how long we can stay on this picture because I'm already getting nauseous.
Focus on the boobos. There's many of them.
Yes, Alicia did a painting video on these too. If you want a really great video on how to paint nurgly stuff, you should go check out her video on painting with these plague toads. She walks through it. But it is absolutely disgusting, and I couldn't watch the whole video because I was getting sick as you were describing painting the pieces. Your technique was very impressive and perfect. It's just thinking about what you were describing was turning my stomach.
Yeah, it's hard to. I have a disconnect from it because I was the one saying it, but if I was in your shoes, yeah, it'd make me sick.
Isn't it true that it's easier to tolerate a mess when it's your own child?
Yes.
That is probably true.
It is
Yes.
100% true.
Very good work. And these are Forge World models, right? The actual toads?
Yeah, they sure are.
I'm gonna go with sure. Whatever Kieran says. I don't know.
They're very, very cool models. And then here I assume we have the Herald of Nurgle.
Yes.
I like and my favorite part of this model is obviously the Nurgling just hanging out up in his horns.
Yeah. There needs to be more of those. I remember some old plague bears that I had that were metal ones where it had like the entrails hanging out and Nurglings swinging on them.
Oh, fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, they're so happy. Just happy to be there.
They're always smiling. Every Nurgling model is smiling. They are just pleased to be serving Papa Nurgle. Like they are most favorite of his children. All right. Next up, we come to I think this was Materim's first submission for his Lizardmen. Yeah, because I don't think he did anything in the month before. And
That is correct.
these are his
Look at that.
sources.
Look at that, textured bases.
I know, right? How great do those bases look? Man, it's like the model is actually done now. I love it. Way to go, Materim.
I know, right?
I'm glad we've got him coming over to the dark side. But I really like the color choices he made here. Let me see if I can. There we go. I was looking for the high shot. I like the blues on top with the greens underneath, and then set off by the sort of tannish pink of the shields.
Yeah, yeah, it's obviously a busy month in the Merritt household with the paintbrush. You guys have both been doing some quite stalwart efforts.
Doing my best.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a regular old sweatshop there, isn't it?
I know. I have such a freaking slave driving boss. It's not even funny. I'm not allowed to go to bed before 2.
Get that painting done. Go, go, go. Great work, Materim. Yeah, I like these very much. I've liked all of his Lizardman models, and I think what he's showing is to me, one of the big reasons to collect a Lizardman army is because you get to experiment and play in color schemes that you don't normally get to use with armies. You get to use all these bright, gaudy, ridiculous colors that normally are silly, but when you have them on the lizards, it just looks appropriate.
I don't know. I think you can do like gaudy, bright colors on demons too.
Oh, sure, absolutely, yes. There are a chosen few armies that get to play in extreme colors. if you did your high elves with blue skin and green garments and red sheaths on their weapons, they might look a bit unusual.
Challenge accepted.
Let's see it for next month's submission, Kieran. I'm waiting. All right, here. This is my buddy Tom here who submitted this. This is again a Forge World model. This is the Idol of Gork, or possibly Mork, or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know, but this thing is huge. That's a like 100 by 150 mil base, just to give you an idea on the scale there. So that's like a Nagash Soul Grinder base.
Yeah, this guy's obviously a big deal in his parts. I think that Tom's done a good job of dressing up the base and telling a little bit of a story there, so that always adds to the composition of a model. So good show on that. If I have one tiny criticism for Tom, and I can only do this because I've spent a little bit of internet time with him, go a little brighter on your rock moss, maybe.
You'd like to see maybe a brighter green poking through there in places?
I think so. Yeah, and I don't know if that's the photography. Maybe it is brighter. I don't know, but it comes out dark here. Looks more like mud than it does like moss.
I completely agree with that. There's a lot of moss, like if you ever really look at it, it's got nice brighter patches, especially where the sun's hitting it and it grows better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. All right. Good feedback.
Not small criticism.
Hey, absolutely. And yeah, he's doing a whole spider, savage, goblin-themed army, so I'm sure we'll see more of that. Well done, Tom. Great work. Here we have All Elves Are Dark with his Mordheim Dark Elf Warband, I believe.
Yeah, he has a series of models for these, right? Well, here we go. We're getting to it.
Sorry. I'll go a little slower there.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's a cape.
Yeah, indeed, yes. Front of the Corsair there.
Yeah, so he's blended a few, mostly Corsairs, but a couple of kits to make his models out of that.
Yeah.
Pretty special hairdo on this one. Yeah, Mordheim seems to be the trendy thing.
Well, I think it's funny that it's just, I think that the return to Mordheim, I've played it on and off since it came out in '99. I have a deep and abiding love for it, and the rumors that the next edition of Warhammer may also have a skirmish game a la Mordheim baked into it excites me greatly, as I've always loved it, and as the editions have went on, it saddened me to have to keep 2 rule sets in my head, so I would love to see Mordheim 2 Electric Boogaloo. So, but on this, I love the work. The Sea Dragon Cloak is fantastic. What I love about these is I've seen them in red, blue, purple, green. If done right, it looks good in any of those sorts of color patterns. I feel like he really did tackle it well here.
Yeah, and it's a pretty sharp sculpting on these things, so even more so than on the Saurus Warriors, because I think this is a newer kit than the Saurus Warriors or much of the Lizard Men, so they actually did some sharper sculpting on these things to make doing this kind of thing a little bit easier on folks.
Yeah, agreed. So you can actually get in there. The wash will take really nice. You can pick out the individual scales really nice. Yeah. Yeah, well done. Good work. All Elves Are Dark.
Mm-hmm.
Another knight that we won't labor on too long. I like this guy. He was a fun example of doing this freehand crosshatch pattern. That was fun.
Yeah, he looks very regal.
Yeah.
Black
Again,
and gold.
The Micron pen for the win, folks. Just
Mm-hmm.
again, with thin paint over it. All right, there we go. Won't waste any more on him. All right. Then we have Ken Baldock here with some more the Morghasts or Morghast Erachai. I don't know how you say that word, but whatever they are, that's them.
He did a couple of these prior, I thought.
Yeah, he had the actual like Mortark. I know he did previously, right? He had finished Archon last month.
There you go.
And you know, it's funny because one of the comments on Archon that I made was the red seemed out of place on Archon because Archon has similar armor plates, but he just has one set, right? There's just like the big Fell Beast has the one piece of armor. And so he was painting it to stay in line with the rest of his army with the red, but it looked out of place because that was the only thing colored red on the whole model, and it seemed really out of place. Whereas here, I like it very much because it's a much better contrast to the sort of spirit greens, and there's enough of it on the model that you actually get a color triangle because you've got a nice 3-point blend of the color.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really good, like, if you're going to use a contrasting color that's really strong, always make sure that you have enough of it on the model spread out that it doesn't just seem like you accidentally got that color on there. That's the key. Contrast it has to be in the right balance. So, good work.
Yeah, that's the right word you use for it too, is it's balance, because if you have like a left pauldron that is the only thing on there that's a bright red, then you can't help but look at that left pauldron and only at that.
Exactly.
Whereas here you can look at different parts of the model and gather it all.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point because that's exactly what it does, right? It draws your eye just to that one bright contrasting point. That's yeah, exactly right. I every time I look at these guys, I'm like, well, gonna have to pick some up. Don't want to, gonna have to do it. Got an army of Bretonius to finish first. Can't be buying more stuff. All right, Tuna with Psychotic Leprechaun.
Showing the world how to use Noblars for the better uses of good.
Yes. That is horrifying and wonderful right there.
Maybe I should make one for St. Patrick's Day. I should make a leprechaun model.
There you go. It's coming. Hey, absolutely. Hey, you've got a week. All the time in the world.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if he watched any of the Leprechaun movies from the 80s for inspiration on this thing.
Well, first of all, the Leprechaun movies were not all from the 80s. Those are much more recent than you think. Number one.
Were they really early 90s? Because I could have swore they were 80s.
I mean, it's possible Leprechaun 1 might have come out in, like, I'm going to say 88 or 89, maybe, but I bet it was later than that. And, you know, we all got all the way up to Leprechaun 5, Return to the Hood, or whatever. That might have even been 6. He went to the Hood twice, I know that.
Oh my god, you actually really know that?
I
went up to 3.
I make it my business to know obscure, ridiculous facts, especially about Leprechaun movies. We've all got our areas of specialty.
You got to go way back to the 60s to get the classic Darby O'Gill versus the Little People, though. That's the best of them all.
Nice.
Everybody go look that up after you're done with this show tonight. Darby O'Gill and the Little People. Your life will change.
There you go. That's what the PmP End of Month Spectacular does. It's life-affirming and life-altering all at the same time. All right. Good job, Tuna. Love the Leprechaun. Couple more nights for me. Here we go. More guys. All right.
Green and gold is a good combo.
Yeah.
That's a sharp one. I like it.
This was fun with like the free hand around here and the little fleur-de-lis and such. It's fun to mess with these. Like the fun of Bretonia is that every time you paint a model, it's an entirely new model, and it's it's a character. You get to be completely unique with each individual one. I'd say that's the reason I love the army.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Here's Mr. Lee again with his finished vampire. I like his ghost blending there. Here on the cloak with the faces.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the winning point for me about this model. And the thing that I pay most attention to is his blend from dark to light as it wisps away from his body.
Absolutely, and he's got the little object source here and such around the ring. The only thing I don't like about this model, and it has nothing to do with his paint job, it has to do with the actual model, and that is I don't like the. Let's see if we can get it at a different angle here. I don't like his cloak with the bear arms coming out, or whatever they're supposed to be, because it makes it look like when you're looking at the model straight on, it makes it look like this is his arm. Like he has a big bear arm coming out the side. I mean, clearly that's not. It's just his cloak. But I feel like that was just a piece of the model that the original sculptor didn't need to put in there. I mean, it's certainly not. He did a great job with picking it out and having the color to the fur and such. That's my complaint with the actual model.
Yeah. Nor did he need to put that giant spike off his left shoulder either.
Yeah, there's a lot of strange choices made with this vampire from a modeling perspective. From a painting perspective, very well done.
I think the main reason for the giant spike is probably to offset the weight of the bear arm on the model.
The model would just constantly tip forward otherwise.
And this was a cast metal model, so I think you're exactly right there.
Yeah, but I completely agree with Vince with the bear arm thing. Is I have a hard time finding the hand because of how it's sculpted.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Here we have a Dice Miniature Paint guy. A nice little flaming elf wizard here.
Yeah, he's just taken the Caradrian model and given him more affinity with the Phoenix role that he's got, I guess. Because that's what that model is. It's just a stock Caradrian. He's done his sculpting of fire, dressed up the base, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm giving him a nice neighborhood to hang out in.
Yeah, that's he's basically on a 40 mil now. I have to wonder if he comes off of there, and could be used on a standard 20, or if he's just sort of assumed to have unit filler behind him or something.
Yeah, that's probably how he works it. Just plugs that into the Phoenix Guard unit, and then when the command dies, takes that off. Probably that's how I'd play it.
Sure, absolutely. And here we've got some like a Lich Priest or something of that nature. I actually don't know where that fig is from. Kieran, do you know where that, or Alicia, do you know where that fig is from?
I don't recognize
I think it may be an Avatars of War, or perhaps Game Zone.
I do very much like it. I really like I love the way he's hunched. The good cloth work down here on the edge. I like big, heavy folds like that. Very cool model. He's got a lot. I don't think we're going through all 57 pictures, Dice, but here we have the nice little skeletal knight there.
Yeah, and these, I think, the reason I said Game Zone before is I think that's who makes these ones. Those knights.
Yeah, and I will say, I like looking at the pictures on Game Zone. I'm not super impressed with what they are, but I don't know. Seeing them here, I think maybe sometimes when you see something painted or in person as opposed to in like a stock photo, it just can look a lot different.
Let me see some bloody Vargulsts. Vargulsts? No, that's wrong. It's not the right word. Thank you. Me fail English.
Well, I don't think that's actually an English word. And here we got
we can pass on that one.
War Machine model here.
I'm liking the glow effects that he's produced on most of these models.
Yeah, I very much like this effect here in the recesses. Yeah, there you go. Nice shot of it there. Looks like fire inside there. Little Demigryph Knight. All right.
I paid some of these that I own. I have like 6 of them that are stewing, doing nothing.
You have some Demigryphs just waiting to hit the table, as it were.
Yeah. I got it. Well, as most of us can probably attest to, we got all sorts of stuff that's in the closet that could use a paint job.
Sure. It always bothers me. I try not to let too much build up. but it happens. You can't avoid it. Just the nature of collecting.
Yeah.
Here we have some more Mordheim submission for his Crow random encounters. I love these little models. Like this is great fun here.
Did these things come from the Tomb Guard Regiment? Does that make sense?
I don't think so, because I think what you get with them is like a vulture. I wonder if these weren't War Master like Carrion or something, like the smaller, like the smaller size models. But then when used on this, they're because Carrion are normally large, so or not large in like large target sense, but bigger models. And but here on this, when they're shrunk down to 15 mil, they get this size. I don't know. Not sure where they're from. Where are they from? All elves are dark. Tell us.
Yeah, I don't think they were the War Master ones because I own some of those.
Gotcha. All right, if I was right, I'm claiming that point. Oh no, there you go. GW Dark Eldar Razorwing Flock. Okay. So it's must be a 40K thing. We were all wrong. Hey, why not?
Now we're smarter.
There you go. Here we've got Skip. Alicia, do you want to talk about, you know Skip very well. Do you want to talk about what he's aiming at here?
I feel like he's gotten the paint where it needs to go, which is good. Tried to, the pictures are terrible. Trying to get a good look at them. Purple
Did he learn this? Did he learn this photo backdrop technique from your husband?
Yes. Well,
I think he did.
I did it once or twice too, but he didn't use it. Yep, in future, use a better light source. You're getting close, buddy.
Well, I'm glad to see he's rededicating himself to this and making a go of it.
I think it's nice that he tried to use some flock there at the bottom. Unless that was already on there, then I don't know. Because he's buying a lot of his models secondhand, so I don't know how much of this is him and how much of it is pre-done. But I like the idea of purple bandages. It's a new interesting idea. He's coming along. That's probably the best thing I can say. Keep at it.
That's right. That's the way you got to practice, practice, practice. It's the only way you get there. And yes, we definitely see some improvement there. So keep it up, Skip. And I want to see definitely more Tomb Kings models. And for the third time, Skip, I will repeat my offer. Do not be scared of that kitty cat. I have a War Sphinx. We can do a 7-hour hangout. We'll build them and paint them together. That's my offer to you. So there you go. Nobody should go through life without a War Kitty. It's the greatest model Games Workshop's ever made. Here we have another one from Matiram. It's Skink Priest, correct?
Mm-hmm. Kubonai.
And he's flashing out more colors on this.
Yeah.
Stretching out the color palette all across.
Yeah, I particularly like the green and the blue over here. It's, orange and red. It's great contrast points.
We were talking about color balance a couple slides back, and so I want to point out something here that with the big heavy blue-green shield on that one side, I wouldn't be able to look at anything else if it wasn't balanced out by some of that same color blue-green within his whatever that is sword in the other hand. So that's whether accidental or on purpose, that works towards that balancing the model.
Absolutely. The only thing that makes me sad about this model, and again, this has nothing to do with Mitt's paint job, is from this side he's so busy. He's got all this stuff going on, like these jangles and scales and tail and jewelry, and then you flip to this side, and it looks like he's a flasher in the park. Like there's just nothing up front here. And, you know, that's not Materim's fault, but it's just if he feels empty on the front. I feel like maybe maybe he could have like a tattoo across his chest or something to kind of liven that up. You almost have to compensate for the deficiencies of like the base model, right? To get that upside. Like I think if you took that blue and did like a nice blue sort of swirly archy tattoo around his chest and stomach, I think that'd pop pretty amazingly. Just go look at like the situation and try to copy one of his tattoos right across there. You're good to go.
No, that was good advice until that last sentence.
I would have liked for him to have taken a lighter color blue to kind of offset some of those triangles in the sword weapon club thing. Because that is supposed to be turquoise in there.
Yeah.
And it being flat like that, it could just use a little bump up.
Yeah, that would be a next step to take it.
Mm-hmm.
Try to gemify it a little bit. I agree.
And then here we have his salamander and his crew. Good-looking skinks poking their salamander along.
Does that salamander got 6 legs? Is that what I see?
8, I believe.
8 legs.
Because I think this is actually a Reaper Bones Basilisk. Is that correct, Alicia?
Yes. Well, not a bones, but yeah.
Okay, just a Reaper Basilisk. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the metal one. We try to stay away from the bones for the smaller minis. But he actually came up with this all by himself. I didn't help him with the Basilisk at all, and I think it came out well.
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, looks like a salamander to me. I think it's a great replacement for it. Mm-hmm. And probably just a shade more cost-effective, too, I will say. And by a shade, I mean a country mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very good work there, Materim. The Lizardmen are coming along. More knights. More knights. Very exciting time.
Again, green and yellow. Green and yellow catches me. I like it.
Yeah. This one was the cream, and then obviously the freehand on the fleur-de-lis there. And, you know, I don't think I've used the exact same color scheme on any 2 knights thus far, so just always trying different colors. It's fun.
I think by the time you're done, you'll be able to draw fleur-de-lis with your eyes closed.
I have done a lot of them. Yes. Absolutely. We've only begun.
The more of these I see you do, the sadder I am. Skip was gonna have me do some Bretonnian Knights for him, and then he changed his mind. He's gonna have me do freaking Sisters of the Thorn again, and it made me sad. I was gonna get to do what you did.
That's a shame, because the Knights are fun. Like they're just such a joy if you like to spend time painting, which, you know, I hope you do if you're in this hobby. If not, you should develop a love for it. And or a large wallet to pay other people who do enjoy doing it to do it. They are an absolute joy. I still have enough knights behind me that I put them behind me instead of like in anywhere where I can see when I'm at my desk, because it scares me to look at how many are unpainted, and I feel overwhelmed by it. So out of sight, out of mind. Just get out what you're working on. Keep that in front of you. Don't feel the weight of the task.
Completely agree.
Here we've got 2 more from Materim. This is his, which one's this one? Yeah, his Old Blood, yes. Now this guy's great. Like, look at all the detail and bejangles and things he's got going on.
Yeah, he's certainly an action-packed model.
Yeah, he's busy.
Yeah, no worries about the flasher in the park syndrome on this guy.
No, not at all. He brought lots of stuff. The salon set him up.
I didn't recognize that they ever did lizardmen with forked tongues, though. I think that's the first time I've noticed that.
Oh yeah, that's funny. I hadn't even noticed that. Yeah, you're right. You know, this is a thing that they do often. This, like, the skull with the 2 ropes going into the eyes. You see this on Tomb King's models. You see this on Beastmen models. I think the Durthu model has a couple of this going on. I
Mhm.
never like these because it's so tricky to get that rope to actually look like rope. You know, like to get the paint on that without touching the skull and then going back, and it's just like because it's actually so tiny in reality. And so full credit, Materium, you pretty much got it right on there, and it's not an easy thing, especially behind that shield. So well done. I've painted probably I don't know 400 skulls like this between my Tomb Kings and other models I've done with this rope pattern. The skull chucker catapults are pretty much this times 100 right there. So very annoying.
Oh Jesus, yeah, I remember doing that one.
Yeah. It's just all these stacked on top of each other, right? 4 around.
Yeah, and that just felt like a bad day at the office.
Well done. I think the only, like, my only slight critique here would be the eye. Your eyes feel like a very stark contrast. And, like, I feel like what I would like to see here is something dark around them to edge this out. Be like a drop of a very dark, like, Athonian camo shade or a Bieltan green, something that's going to darken that out, and then maybe a lighten up to that because it feels like there's no edge to the eye. It's my only piece of feedback.
Totally agree.
Other than that, I very much like the model. And this guy, I love this guy. Here's a great I love this model. Let me just say that. I think Paul Kunert painted one of these last month, I think, and now here's Materiums, and I love this model. Those feathers are so great, and when you do them in a big, bright, contrasting color to the model, they just pop, and that's what happened here. I think this is one of my favorites he did.
I'm going to say something a bit silly about this model, though. Doesn't he look a little bit gropey?
Like he's kind of reaching out for you.
Yeah, just like a... He's not like really leaning into a spell, it doesn't look like. He looks like he's just kind of... Either he's an old dude who's reaching for the banister so he can climb the stairs, or he's a lecherous little skink who is trying to cop a feel.
I think it depends on what's in front of him. If there are witch elves that are coming into that group, then yeah, he's probably trying to go for the feel, you know.
Hey, you kids, get off my lawn. Well, he's on the steps. Like, you can see that it connecting to a porch, and he's just kind of
Yeah.
off the porch.
Where's that banister?
He had been sitting in his chair, in his rocking chair on his porch, having a lemonade, when these damn human kids came on his lawn, started stealing all his gold. He didn't like it. So well done there. All right, here we have Chris Davis, who's newer in the PmP. I know this guy as well. Everybody calls him Topher, and he's working his way through a new high elf army. And I will say I absolutely love the banner work here. Like the elves are good; they're fine. I saw him progress, but I absolutely love his banner.
Yeah, and he carries out a lot of this on shields too. When I was looking at this thing, I was thinking to myself, this is probably why spearmen, or part of the reason why spearmen are not very often seen on the battlefields of Warhammer anymore, is because people got to spend so much time on their shields. And they don't want to. But he's dedicated himself to it and did it all.
Absolutely, yeah. Here with got the gem on each one, and yes, all these animals.
Yeah, he's tried out a bunch of different things throughout the shields of this unit. So kudos to that. It's being creative.
Yeah. Good job, Topher. It's a great looking unit. I can't wait to smash them into the ground someday soon. To kill them, as all high elves must eventually be destroyed. All right, here we have Victor with his word bearers, I think is what these guys are, right? Yeah. Again, there's a tutorial video up for these guys, a couple, because he also goes through how to do the freehand, I think, on some of these.
These are very busy models.
Oh man, there is so much going on these things, right?
Yeah, there's almost too much going on. I'm trying to identify it all.
I think it's one of the things with these 40K models in Power Armor is just they're just over the top, right? As to what's going on, the weapon and all these little technical parts on it. And he's holding his helm, and there's growths in this face down here in his leg, and little skulls, and more parchment and gems. Wow.
Yeah.
That being said,
it just keeps coming at you. You can probably look at this model 10 times and find something different on it.
Absolutely. And I got to say, Victor, you really, I mean, he really took it up here. Like, you can see all the highlighting on the red and such. You know, given all of this little detail and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
The freehand on the arm here. Text on the thing. I know we went to a lot of trouble to put a lot of like text and words, being that they are the word bearers.
Makes sense. His green on this, we got super glowy.
Oh yeah, that is.
Like there's glowy and then there's extra glowy, but this does actually give you the impression that there is some internal light going on in those claws.
Yes, if those are lightning claws or power claws or whatever they're supposed to be, you're definitely achieving the desired effect. Those look like plutonium claws.
Mm-hmm.
Warpstone.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be a great color scheme for Warpstone, for sure. Yeah, absolutely stunning unit. Like just I don't know how much I like the aesthetic of Chaos Space Marines. I don't think it's personally my speed. But I have to respect the amount of work that went into this unit. It looks absolutely fantastic, and just my goodness, this must have taken a long time. Way to go, Victor.
Yeah.
That is something you should be proud putting on the table anytime it happens. More knights. Oops, what happened there? Wrong thing.
Oh, you got into the naughty pictures folder, haven't you?
Apparently. Here we go. There we go. So let me tell you what I did wrong here, so that everybody else doesn't make the same mistakes I did. So these are two of the knights, and I wanted to. Caleb Goodson had linked me to his family crest when I was talking about crests, and so I thought, and he said, well, you probably wouldn't want to do mine; it's too complicated. And so I thought, haha, I will surprise him, and I will do his family's crest.
Okay.
That's what that is.
And there you go.
And I was very happy
Bravo.
with how it came out. That is to say, the painting. So here's what I did wrong. I watched a couple of tutorials on making your own banners. And what I did is, let me see if I can get a different angle here. So this is a piece of plastic, like plastic card, that I actually made from the, if you've ever gotten a blister pack, right?
Yep.
Like a model that comes in a single blister pack. It's that plastic cut out in banner shape,
Okay.
and then laid down with a sheet of heavy cardstock over that, and then paper that the pattern is drawn on over top of that, and then that's all glued together. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it's all layered with a water PVA glue mix over the top, and then several layers of matte varnish over the top, and then you put paint on, right? So all those things happen before you ever touched it with paint. All that's fine. The problem with it is I didn't get it bent before I put in all the glue. I should have heated up the plastic first in either water or very carefully with a lighter to bend the plastic, because it doesn't have the bend of actual fabric. It's way too static. Right?
Right. Gotcha. Yeah.
So that is my those my lesson for everybody there who's watching. If you ever want to make your own banner, make sure you put using paper or cardstock, make sure you put your folds into it first, and then apply that PVA water glue mix that's going to actually solidify the thing and make it stay solid. Do that, bend it before you try that. So there we go. All right. And then speaking of Mr. Goodson, here's his vampire. And I think that's This guy right here, kind of blurry picture, but I think that's a Malifaux fig, right? This guy?
Not even sure.
Kieran, you still there? Any thoughts?
Might be frozen.
Yeah, I mean, we might have lost him. He might be frozen. All right, we will bravely continue on, being that we're almost to the end of the month. In fact, I think that's it. I think we're at the end of the month. Well, we can't do that. We'll go up to the first or the second here because we can't leave out the last couple. One of which is from Kieran with his Reavers here. Alicia, any thoughts on the Reaver group here?
I like what he's done with the horses, and trying to get it better. Like he's actually gone through and done things with the muzzle and like the socks on them. His fabric, he always does really just amazing work with his fabric on these things. Like they look like if you just blew on them, they'd move.
Agreed. This whole army's done in this purple and gold, and I really like it. It's he's done several units, and I've liked the purple every time. It's very rich purple, and I very much like the color choice.
I feel like I've gotten better at purple through this process.
You know, purple is a really hard color to work with because highlights it shows the lines so easy if you even go up one shade, right? The transition, just like if you make the slightest move to a lighter color, it just shows that so easily.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to you for doing so much purple. It's not an easy color to work with.
Well, here's what I'll share with the world about highlighting purple. What I've discovered is that if you're going to lighter tones of purple, and generally when you go out to the shop to try to find lighter shades of purple, they end up being mauve and pastel-y and this kind of thing, and sometimes that's not the color or tone that you want to go with. Similarly, if you simply add white to purple to brighten it up, then you end up with a chalky purple. So what I have done throughout most of this stuff is I've added a pale flesh tone to my purple to lighten it up instead of white. And that's how I got that.
I like it. Absolutely. Yeah, I think the elf, using a sort of elf tone flesh or a light flesh or a sunny skin tone, I think you can do, but with both purples and reds, you can get really nice transitions out of that instead of going white. It really softens the transition. So I think that's great advice.
And it keeps it in a warm color temperature.
Yep. All right. And then I think our last one for the month, because that was technically March 2nd, but we'll get you in squeaked under the buzzer there.
I know. Yeah, March 1st. Shame on me.
Is Tuna, who finished out a White King, I think, here. Very nice.
Yeah.
Always probably leading up a Black Knight bus of cheaterdom to go forth and smash the enemies of the vampire counts.
Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that. I like a Black Knight, that's for sure. That's the fair guy. He's the White King is the fair one. It's just when you see the three vampires up front, you got to run the other direction. But the White Kings, I'm good with them. They're classy. All right. So I think that brings us then to the top of the month. Everything beyond this is kind of when we're deeper into March. So we will do that a month from now.
Yay!
And that brings us to the end. And now I'm going to freeze here for a moment while I switch back over and stop sharing. So, like I said, a lot of output this month from everybody. I mean, boy, that was a really big month.
Yeah, it was a good hour and a half for us to go through it all. And, I don't feel that we deviated to nonsense too much. Maybe aside from the pooping goblin and me complaining about the corn cannon. We kind of moved it on after that.
Well, there's always got to be a little bit of deviation and nonsense. I mean, come on now. That's why else are people watching the show?
Yeah, that's why they tune in.
Absolutely. So, great job, everybody. If you're watching this and you're not part of the PMP and you'd like to join, you can always just contact any of the three of us through our channels or through my email of vincentrventurella@gmail.com, which will be posted on every Warhammer Weekly every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You'll see my email there. You can reach out to any of us, and we're all owners and moderators of the PMP. It's a private group, but if you are interested in joining part of the team there and posting up and so on and so forth, your progress and sharing in the community, we'd love to have you. So there you go.
I was going to suggest the other way is you could just simply go to the PMP and push the button that says join.
Oh, hey, that's also a good one. That's a smart way to do it.
Yeah.
That's even better.
And that sends a signal out to the moderators that you'd like to join.
Very nice. So, what final thoughts do we have? Final thoughts, tips on the month?
I want to ask you guys, what's your fave? What's your favorite? You can't pick your own.
Oh, well, that'd be in poor taste, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Alicia, let's start with
Either
you.
from the
Lady
person.
first.
For Skull, Pooping Goblin. For paint, probably Vince's Knights.
Well, thank you.
There you go. And what about you,
Kieran, what
Vince?
about yourself? Oh,
you
okay,
want-
me next, huh?
Yeah, you go next. Sure.
All right, that's fair. I love the Attack on Titan Giant. It blends a lot of elements I like. It's good. Clearly, there's good brush control there to make the muscle tone. Good color blending. Great conversion. Good vision of what he wanted out of a miniature. There is a skill to looking at a miniature and seeing something else in it. Right? It's like I don't remember what sculptor or whatever said that when he looked at the marble, he saw the statue within, and his job was just to free it, right? So that sort of thing. There's an artistry to being able to look at a model that's clearly something, but not see that thing and imagine it as something else. So I very much love that because I think it captures that very well. And it was just good blending, good technique, good everything. So I really like that. And also, I just wanted to. I really also liked Materim's little Skink Priest. I thought he was good. I love that Skink Priest model. I picked it. He was one of my favorites from a different painter last month. I think I'm just partial to that model. When done right, he really pops.
Are you talking about the Groper?
The Groper, yeah, man. I'm a fan of the Groper. The dirty old man skink. I love him. What can I say? I got a soft spot in my heart for him. And then, of course, an honorable mention to Pooping Goblin, who should be on everybody's top 10 list, no matter what, in any month.
Right. Well, I'm gonna give two nods for the month. One to I think it was Tuna Sandwich of 5 who did the casket conversion. Is that right? Am I giving credit to the right guy?
Him. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, for his use of the actual vampire in a casket and mounting it on base from another scenery project, and then turning that wizard kit into something that totally fits the motif. So very creative there. I'll give you the nod. But for paint quality and execution, I want to give it to the Chaos Marines of Victor, because he just he took all of that on. And as we said a moment ago, there's a heck of a lot going on in each and every one of those models, and to paint it as a unit and exemplify a bunch of different painting techniques on there is masterful.
Agreed. Yeah, that is just, again, Victor, fantastic work. Like, my goodness, good on you, sir. I think a lot of people would find that an imposing model. You know, just looking at it, you're like, oh boy, what did I get myself into?
Just when you think you're done, here's this other thing.
Yeah, more bits and bobs and bejangles and things. All right. Well, very good. Any closing thoughts before we sign off this particular end of month spectacular?
Well, what's on tap for the two of you in March? Can I answer for you, Vince? Knights?
Nice, nice, nice. Yes, this is just being finished up right here. That looks familiar to you, if you know what that is.
Yeah. Had that land on my head.
Absolutely. Toss some rocks. And then, yes, plenty of knights. And I just posted up these guys today. You just see them there, kind of. My first 6 Pegasus Knights I finished.
Your flappy knights. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alicia,
My own personal Lord Flappy Bird.
what's going on in March, Alicia?
I gotta finish off my the corn cannon, and then I've got some blood knights to do. I also have to rebase all of Josh's ogres for brawlers and make him a display board. So that's gonna be fun. I have to and stuff.
Fun times.
Oh yeah, I've got.
For myself, I'm in a Malifaux crew painting challenge, so I'm painting individual models, which is kind of refreshing, rather than painting units of models. So I'm having a good time with that. Got some done already.
Now, what crew are you putting together?
This man is called Yan Lo, so he is like a Japanesey undead resurrectionist master.
Very nice. Yeah, those are. I've seen the. I like the. Is that the one with like the sort of chicks that are doing these like spinny kick martial arts? Is that the crew that has them in there?
No, kind of.
Okay.
But no.
Gotcha.
Same faction, but a different crew.
Ah, okay, got it.
I painted those ones already.
I do love those as well. Like, I mean, obviously, my only problem with some of the Malifaux pigs is they're smaller than they seem. Those nurses shocked me with how tiny they were.
Very slender.
Yes. But sculpt-wise, for the size they're quite good sculpts. I mean, like, I was amazed at the detail, even at that size.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right. Well, very good. Well, don't forget if you want to. Don't forget to share what you're going to work on in the month with the PmP. Post your pledge for the month. Show us some progress pics, and then post up that end of month submission when you're done. As always, if you got any questions or comments, or you want to know how to do something, ask the community. That's what everybody's here for. Everybody, I think everybody who's sitting in here loves to talk, and we'll be happy to share with you anything we know. I will gladly ramble at you for hours in case that hasn't been proven already by what's going on here. So we're all happy to help. That's what it is. It's a community of people trying to help each other. So ask and share, and let's all improve as a community, because painting isn't really a destination. It is it's a cliche thing to say, but it's absolutely a journey. Like, if you ever think you're as good as you're going to get, then stop painting, because you have failed in the only way you actually can fail at painting, which is deciding to stop trying to get better. So there you go.
Good advice. I'll echo that.
All right, and with that, I think we can close it out. So for me, Vince, thank you very much. Look forward to another great month. Kieran, Alicia, final words.
I will just say farewell to the painters. Keep painting, so I have cool stuff to look at.
Watch out for leprechauns.
That's right. Watch out for those leprechauns. Whether you be in space or in the hood, they will find you. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a great month.
Good night, all.